So good morning. My name is Anna Bradford. I am the Director for International Enrollment Management and Global Mobility here at Millersville University. And I'm excited to talk to you about our institution today. This presentation is going to be an overview. First, we're going to talk a little bit about the school, about the region that we're located in, the overall history of the university, about our programs, traditions, and then we will hit the application process and application information at the end of the presentation. I will have a moment for questions and answers at the end of the presentation. But for those of you that are recording or listening to this recording, you can connect with us on WhatsApp, by email, or booking a virtual appointment. So without further ado, let's get started. So Millersville University, affectionately known as the Ville, is a public university in the state of Pennsylvania within the United States. And every institution within the US has a mission statement, has a slogan that helps define our identity. Millersville University is known for our epic values, values so epic that we had to add additional letters into the word to be able to capture them all. So exploration, public mission, professionalism, inclusion, integrity, and compassion. These are the guiding principles for anything we do on campus. I've been in a data meeting talking about how we define data, and the leader of that data meeting brought it back to the epic values. So it certainly is something that we build into everything that we do and core to the identity of this institution. Also, now more than ever, you are seeing the United States in the news. Something that I want to let you know, or these are the languages that are on our campus right now. These are the students, including a local language, Penn Dutch, that's listed here. So this is the diversity, this is our community. Our president is once an international student himself, and this is his language right here from Ghana. So this is an area where you're welcome. We are a community that values our international students and diversity and celebrates this. You'll see this sign around campus. And I want to share that with you, knowing where we are currently and letting you know that this is a campus that wants you here. So we're located on the continental United States in the East Coast in the state of Pennsylvania. We're in Lancaster County, and Millersville is about 10 minutes by car from downtown Lancaster. I've been in both of the regions where I know you guys are coming from today. Our traffic is not your traffic, so 10 minutes is a pretty straight drive, very accessible. We have buses that go back and forth. Here you can see these are major international airports or ports of entry within our region. We're about less than 3 hours from New York City, under about an hour and a half from Philly, about less than 3 hours from Washington, D.C. So we're actually closer to major metropolitan cities on the East Coast than we are to Pittsburgh, another major city within our state, as there is a mountain range right here between the two. So it's quite beautiful. Actually, if you're looking at this whole region, about 60% of the entire US population lives within a 6-hour drive of Lancaster or Millersville University. So it's quite diverse. There's a lot happening here. And especially if you're looking for international foods and opportunities, there's a lot for you to be able to do within the region. So Lancaster City is famous for a group of people known as the Amish. So while you're driving, especially on Sundays, somewhere you'll see horses and buggies on the side of the road. That is part of what makes us a tourist destination within the region. And this is actually a picture of not too far from where I live in Lancaster City, less than about a 10-minute drive to campus every morning. So it's quite charming. There's a lot happening in the region, and there's a lot of tourist kind of activities that happen throughout the year, in part because of this local community. So it's something that you'd experience living in the area. And just a few more facts about Lancaster City. We're known as the Red Rose City. I'll talk a little bit more about what that certified welcoming status means. But if you're familiar with Hershey's chocolate at all, Hershey's factory is about 30 minutes away. And their very first chocolate shop was in Lancaster City. There's over 70 languages spoken in this county, which is quite impressive, considering that it's known for being Amish country. So it's quite diverse with a lot of tradition. There's a lot of things to do, if you enjoy hiking, because of the amount of rivers actually in the state of Pennsylvania, we have the largest coastline of any state. So it's quite beautiful. The Sylvania in Pennsylvania means forest, so Penn's Forest. So it's quite wooded, beautiful. It's a great place to be able to detox from the stress of a term, to just go outside and then enjoy the region. And earlier I mentioned the certified welcoming status. So I think right now there are about 28 certified welcoming cities across the United States. And a certified welcoming status is a little bit like the accreditation that a university receives, but it is a voluntary process that our local government, so the city, the borough of Lancaster, said, we want to show that we are welcoming. We want to show that we want immigrants living in our area. So they invited a third party to come in and look at all of their data, to look at the history of our county and our history of our interactions with immigrants in our backyard. So it's looking at immigrant access to the economy, immigrant access to education, immigrant access and relationships with law enforcement. So any certified welcoming city within the United States has a demonstrated history of at least 3 to 5 years of consistent welcoming status and policy towards immigrants in our backyard, which is now more important than ever as you look at what's happening at the federal level and the national level, knowing that at the local level, at our state level, this is something that we value and we prize highly, and that you're safe and you're welcome, not just on our campus, but in my city. And this is something I love about living here, and it's a great place and a great environment for our students to study. Pennsylvania also has one of the largest gross national product, domestic product within the region. There's a lot of industry that is based out of the state of Pennsylvania. These are logos of some of the companies that have a national or global presence. You might recognize companies like Harley Davidson, where their global headquarters is about an hour away. And we do have students that engage with a lot of these employers for internships, for jobs. This individual you might recognize, it's Taylor Swift. She is actually from the county nearby, and the county nearby has or within our county, there is a facility called Rock Lit. It's a place where major artists will go to be able to practice and package their world tours. So we do have a program called Entertainment Technology that students have been able to do internships and engage with as well. So a lot of opportunities and employer engagement in our backyard. And so I'm going to share a video that is showing you a little bit more visually what Millersville has to take advantage of in Lancaster.
We're Millersville, but we're also Millersville with Lancaster City right next door. I've seen pottery places to go paint. There's Decades, which is like a bowling alley. It's also really easy to take the bus, get dropped off right on Queen Street, and there's so much to do around there.
It's sort of hard not to learn and get involved with the community and what we do. We offer kayaking, hiking, backpacking, and then normally during the weeks where we don't have a weekend trip, we'll do some kind of social event. We're gonna go hit First Friday as a group.
Every First Friday, offered free to the public, we bring to our stage local, national, and international BIPOC artists. Bearing in mind, Lancaster City itself is a very diverse community, and we want to serve those people. And it's a great way for the university to connect and great availability to the artists for the community.
It was like a part of me always wanted to experience how my life would be in America for some time. I'm from Nepal. When you go around, you enjoy the countryside, you know, the fresh air, the greenery around, and then you just have a fresh mind.
It's just really cool to see the students being involved, not only on campus, but off campus too.
The annual Day of Caring aligns with our EPIC values very well, and it is an opportunity where our faculty and classes go out into the community to do projects for nonprofits.
This gives them a greater knowledge of the area and the impact that history's had on this area. There's a lot of historical significance around here. Our community is what makes the university, and to be involved in that community and show that we care for them and they care for us, that's perfection.
So hopefully that video helps bring to life some of the picture that I was painting in words about our backyard. And so now that you know a little bit about the portion of the US that we're in and where we live and play and study, I'm going to transition to talking with you about our campus. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Wuba. As I mentioned in one of our first slides, that he had actually come to the United States as an international student himself, pursuing a master's degree in biology. And he's originally from Ghana. He is actually, fun fact, the king of his tribe in Ghana. So he's still involved in tribal council and different events. He goes home periodically. So we do have strong ties to that region and to the university where he graduated. And as you can imagine, having a president of our university that was once an international student, international students really are top of mind when it comes to some of our policies and actions. So certainly a population that we value and treasure. So Millersville University was established in 1855 as the very first teachers college in the state of Pennsylvania and one of the first teachers colleges in the country. And we've greatly grown since then. So while we are no longer just a teachers college, we do have that heart of a teachers college to equip and send out. And you can see that those fingerprints of our history and all that we do. There are about 4,000 universities in the United States and about 230 in the state of Pennsylvania alone. For context, in the entirety of Canada, there's about 240, about 180-ish in the UK, and maybe about 97 in Australia. So the United States has a vast higher education network. And when you're looking at accreditations, rankings, that's something to keep in mind, is that we are having these rankings in our backyard. There's a lot of competition, but also the United States really values having institutions with an identity and a specific size. So you'll see some information about our profile of an institution, and that is the size that we want to be, the type of community that we want to be. That's part of the reason why the US has so many schools. And so one of the rankings here, or two of them that I'd like to highlight, is one, the top 21% of cost and affordability in the world from Study Abroad Aid. This is looking at international students specifically and really looking at the entire globe of where students will go. So we're very proud to be a cost-effective and powerful option for students. And then the Higher Education Excellence Award, or the HEED Award, we've actually had for about, this is the 14th year. And that only goes to about 130 institutions in the entire United States. So while we have a lot of academic excellence, we are also really affordable and accessible to our students. So as mentioned, here is some of the data that is talking about the profile of institution. So what we're known as kind of a medium-sized institution in the US, about 7,000 students. We just welcomed in our incoming class for fall 2025. So that data statistic right there will go up a little bit. We're very excited that we grew this past year. And we're still able to protect that smaller student to teacher ratio. So it's going to be a large enough US institution that you're going to get a lot of that classic Americana feel. If you've seen TV shows or movies where you see the marching band playing and all of that, that's Millersville University. But also you're going to know your teachers, you're going to know students. You get to meet people meet new people every year, but there will be people who know you and a community for you. We're very proud for our success rate for students. 95% of our grads are employed within 6 to 10 months or doing a master's program. We invited a lot of employers to campus, and we'll expand this a little bit more in the next few slides. So there's over 100 plus programs in related areas of study. In the United States, we use the word college and university kind of interchangeably. Honestly, it wasn't until I personally worked in the higher ed system that I even really knew what the difference between those two words were. Also, in the United States, we do use the word college to be able to describe academic units within a university. So we have 4 different colleges at the university. They're academic colleges, so the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Science, the Lombardo College of Business, the College of Education and Human Services, as well as the College of Science and Technology. And those different colleges, you do not have to just take classes only within that college. It's just a way that we organize ourselves. So at the undergraduate level, you can do 2 different majors. You will take classes outside of your college. Even if you're considering a graduate degree at Millersville University, it's possible to take 1 or 2 classes from another discipline into your program of study, as long as it contributes to your overall education plan. So while these seem like different units, it is not limiting for you. So there's a lot of opportunity to customize. The programs that you're seeing right here are the most popular with our currently enrolled international students, but we certainly offer a lot more than really can fit on one slide. And as mentioned, the United States education is meant to be customized. So if you're an undergraduate student, you can add a minor, you can double major. There are opportunities to do internships and cooperative education. For those of you considering a master's program, you can add certificates to be able to augment your degree. So those are certainly things you would talk about with your academic advisor at the time of it, after you've been admitted and have your visa and are enrolling. And there's a lot of academic supports to help you be successful in the classroom. We have the University College where things like the Writing Center and the Career Center are housed. There's mentorship programs and a lot of other systems to help you be successful, because ultimately that's how our university succeeds, and we want you to be able to have the most support possible. And we also have initiatives like Made in Millersville, which is a homegrown conference that happens every spring. And this is 100% student generated research and poster presentations. So it is a great way for students, like a lot of the participants are undergrad, but certainly our grad students do it too, to develop their CV, to be able to have that experience doing a poster presentation, just like you would at any professional conference, to really cut your teeth on that experience and to grow in confidence in that direction. Here are a few of the previous presentation topics that Made in Millersville. Manuel is one of our international students who actually just graduated. And during his exit interview, he actually said that his most rewarding experience was being able to do this poster presentation. And this was his topic here on assessing winter holiday air quality. So it's very exciting. He was able to get into his desired PhD program on a full fellowship. So he really attributes his ability to develop out his CV and really develop out those skills to be able to get that opportunity when he graduated. So we're very proud of him. And we're really excited to be able to see what kind of stories we can tell again more moving forward in the future. And we have a lot of traditions on campus. You're going to be doing more than just studying when you get here. Your life will be here. And some of the traditions we actually just had, because we just welcomed new students to campus, is the Marauder Pride celebration at the end of the first week of term. We have a pond in the middle of campus, and current students, alumni return to light the candles of our incoming students to welcome them into the tradition of being a Millersville University student. And actually, in the first week of October, we are going to be having our annual Millersville parade. And we're really excited to be able to have our international students be represented and to fly or to hold the flags of their home nation. We're hoping to be able to throw candy from their home nation out to the kids attending the parade as well. So it's quite fun and a very nice taste of Americana. There's a lot of other events that we do for the rest of the year. So we definitely want to integrate you into our community to be part of us. I'm really excited to have you here in that. And there's additional student life resources because, again, your life is here. So health services, you have the intercultural center, the intramural sports. There's so many different ways to be involved. We really want you to be able to make the most of your time here, not just academically, but culturally as well. There are also a lot of different athletic teams if you are interested or you play at a competitive level. And there's over 180 student clubs and organizations. And once you're a student, you'll be able to fully navigate all of the different types of organizations, which you could see in the category section or see them listed alphabetically. So there are, academic honor societies, there are professional networking groups, there are social groups, religious groups, a lot of places for you to get involved. And the office, our office, the Warfel Center for International Programs and Services, is your first point of contact from the moment you hear about Millersville University. throughout the application process. And when you're here on campus, we remain in contact in supporting your immigration and in cultural integration. But also there's a number of other activities and items that we host, for example, education abroad. So we're a very strong team and very excited to be able to support you. And we support you throughout the entirety of that international student journey. So as I mentioned, from right now, when you're hearing about Millersville for the first time, all the way through to post completion. So for example, I have a student that just graduated back in May. She was messaging me yesterday talking about going on a trip. We're still hosting her visa while she's working at this opportunity that she got in Massachusetts. So we're still part of your life for the first 1 to 3 years after graduation. So we're here to be that support system for you and give you that advice. And there are benefits related to the F1 student visa. So for example, optional practical training. It's the ability to work after you graduate in a program related to your field. There's a 24-month extension if you're in a program that's STEM certified. And then CPT, curricular practical training. I would work with you in the Career Center directly to be able to get that approval to do an internship off campus and really benefit your academic studies. So we're here to help you make the most of the visa opportunities presented to you. And then there is different social support. So actually here, this was taken last Friday. It is our welcome bowling night, but we have different social events throughout the year. So this is the Lunar New Year, and we do take students to DC every year. So there are different events that we host and ways that we help you get to see not just our campus, but our region and get to know one another. And there are housing residential halls that are on campus. This is Yash, she's one of our current international students, but all of the rooms, so this is one of the two student bedrooms. They all come with beds, chairs, like a study unit. So this wooden furniture is what's included. These are the different dining options that are on campus, but there's certainly a lot within walking distance in our region. The Evergreen Cafe is actually a student-run cafe hosted by our College of Business. And one year we had the general manager of the cafe, who had a tuition waiver of about 3 classes, was one of our international students. So that's also another great working opportunity. You can work on campus as a student. So this is the layout of the different residence halls that we do have on campus. It is mandatory for first and second year students to live on campus until you get 60 credits. For you grad students, it's an option. But if you want to see more of what housing looks like, you're able to do a virtual tour. Here's Yash again. He's one of our students. I think he is in his junior year right now. And he came originally for athletics, but just got very involved. He's involved in one of our clubs now called the Marauder Fund. It is a university insider trading club using university money, giving students that real world experience with fund money. And Yasser, who graduated about 2 years ago, who got a job about 2 months after he got out of university. He's working in Notre Dame as a marketing specialist, but he did 2 degrees with Millersville. And it's been really great to see how he's thrived post his time with our community. So dialing back to this slide, hopefully you do see a university that is committed to those EPIC values. I've been very happy to share with you about who we are. And now we're going to transition to talking about the application process. So earlier I mentioned that Millersville University is in the process of moving to an old application system to a new application. So if you've recently applied and you don't have a decision yet, thank you for your patience. I should be able to finally be able to issue some decisions soon. We've been waiting for some technical things to be able to fully launch out into that. So don't worry, your application will be moving forward. But we don't have application fees. And for undergraduate students, the minimum items that we need to be able to move your application forward is a demonstration of English language proficiency. We recognize, I think, about 15 different English language exams. If your nation has English as an official language, then we will waive that requirement for you. Or if you have studied at an American school that has an American school accreditation, which I believe one of our attendees, Tim, you might have, then we just need that demonstration to be able to waive that for you. Even if you're a grad student, you can share those transcripts and we'll use that as a basis to waive that English proficiency exam for you. And then we need transcripts for all of your educational history. So if you have graduated from high school, have no post-secondary education, then it would just be your high school transcripts. We have a whole list of what those transcripts would be on our website, depending on your nation, because what we're going to look at is really going to vary on where you're from. But if you have attended any post-secondary education, you have any level of post-secondary coursework, we will require those and you would be considered a transfer student. Every one of you will see an immigration checklist if you need Millersville University to host a visa for you. Don't worry, the immigration materials are not used in your admission process, but we do recognize that it takes time to get those materials together, especially things like the proof of funds if you have a sponsor. So that's why you see that immigration checklist prior to having an admissions decision. Again, not information used on your admissions decision. It is there for your convenience should you receive an admissions decision later. And supplemental materials. So the minimum GPA of consideration for a first-year student would be a 2.5 on a US 4-point scale. We do start issuing awards at a 3.4 and above. But if you're a transfer student, it's a 2.0. If you happen to be on the borderline of admissibility, we will ask you for a 300-word statement and a teacher's reference. Those two items together and potentially interview could be considered for admission. We are a public access university, really meaning that we're here to serve our community, to serve our students. So we will admit students based at the undergrad level based off of if we believe we can see you be successful with our resources. So at the grad level, things are a little different. So at the undergrad level, it is one application for every program of study. And the only two programs that require additional secondary steps would be things like the art program and the music program. And there's a few others that have it during the junior year for additional accreditation. But at the grad level, you're being admitted specifically to the department and to the program that you're applying to. So whereas an undergrad student who decides they want to study business can change their major to engineering if they wanted to, a grad student, when you're admitted to the program you applied to. And if you wanted to change, you'd have to reapply to a new program. And that's because while my team does the initial review of your application, it later goes then to the chair of the department that will be teaching you, and they choose the students that enter their program through a review process. So each and every application goes to the graduate program. And that's part of the reason why it takes a little bit longer, especially during the beginning and end of the year when those same faculty who are teaching are grading papers. So just letting you know that's one of the ways that this admission process fundamentally is different than the undergraduate process. And because of that fundamental difference, and because this is a moment where things are being specialized, there are additional requirements. So every single graduate application requires 3 references. One of them should be academic, meaning a professor or a faculty member who's taught you previously in an academic setting and not someone that was your supervisor at a job. And then the second one would be a supervisor at the job. So those are 2 different types. And then the third reference can be a repeat of one of these other 2 different types. So no personal references, no one from your family or a friend, but academic and professional references are included within those 3. There is a goal statement, and the goal statement is meant to share what your future aspirations and what you're trying to do with a degree. This helps the department see whether or not you are a professional fit for the program, but they will use the formatting of that goal statement to be able to see how you express yourself written. So it is also a review of your writing style. So a lot of students get caught up in the personal aspects of it and forget to keep it formatted as you would a professional paper. Try to keep the formatting, how you write, your style of writing, academic in nature, even though you're speaking about something that's a little bit more personal. Again, this is to help the program ensure that your goals for after graduation align with the curriculum and intention of the program. So the goal statement is important. And some of the programs might ask for an additional academic writing sample. And so that is a purely academic item. So for example, history, I believe it was a 12-page paper. It will be related to whatever your intended era of focus within history. So each one of the programs might have some specialized requirements. For example, clinical psychology will do an interview. And then if it's Masters of Social Work, they only admit during the summer term for international students. So there's additional information on the website to categorize or to address those differences. But overall, English language proficiency is still a requirement. We will need official transcripts to be able to fully admit you, but we can use unofficial for decision. We do in-house credential evaluation, but if you have a NACES or an ICE evaluation already, we can take that into consideration. And some programs will require a GRE or MAT, which is the Miller's Analogy Test. These two tests are not English language proficiency exams. They're tests that Americans take as well, but they're aptitude tests. And they're only required for some programs if you have less than a 3.0 on a US 4-point scale. So please keep in mind, if you have a 3.0 in your nation, after we do our evaluation, that's the GPA that this requirement would be attached to. There's a lot to keep in mind. We have a checklist on the website specifically for graduate students, but there's also the ability for you to book a one-on-one appointment with me. So we are here to support you throughout the full life cycle of that application, from the moment you submit it all the way through to arrival. You'll see us when you do orientation. And we're here to help interpret those credentials, translate them to a US 4-point scale and benchmarking, to look at those English language exams. We assist you in generating the Form I-20, which is the immigration document that shows the US government you've been admitted to a school that they've certified so you can interview for a visa. Do keep in mind that policies of the US State Department have been shifting, and right now you need to do that interview in your home nation. And some of you have very, very long wait times for interviews in your home nation. So the earlier you start in that process, the earlier we can get this to you, and hopefully we will see your face on one of these F1 visas on campus. So here is a general cost of attendance. This is called the sticker price, and this is not the actual price that students pay, especially at the undergraduate level, but these are the estimates for 2 semesters. So for one semester at the undergraduate level, between 12 to 18 credits for flat tuition. So it's the same price for the entire year at that. And for grad, this is for 9 credits. You only have to take 6 credits per semester, but if you took 9 per semester, this is what those costs would be. So again, this is just pure tuition, the mandatory fees. So these are like tech fees, international student fees, other fees along those lines. Housing. Grad students are not required to live on our campus, but we have this estimate here for generation for your Form I-20. So you would just need to demonstrate at least this amount in funding, which would allow you to live anywhere in our county financially, and then the meal plan. So this is what you plan for food for the year. Again, these are estimates, sticker price, not the actual price that students will be paying, but potentially, depending on your financial aid or support packages, could be happening. So we do offer scholarships and aid. We have first year merit scholarship. A merit scholarship is based 100% on your academic performance. And I mentioned in the past, we do a conversion of the GPA from your home nation to the US. We do this using professional resources from professional evaluation companies and registrar. So it's a third party that fully understands the accreditation or the rigor of academics in your home nation. And these are assigned to different GPA benchmarks, which you can see on our website, that range between the Marauder Award from 7,000 to the Navigator from 3,000, and our Explorer Award, which is also stackable with the other 3 first-year awards at 3,000. There is an honors program that will admit students and add on the $1,000 scholarships. And again, I mentioned earlier, we have athletics. If you happen to be recruited by athletics, and we do have international students that do have athletic aid. Students can work on campus. There's a lot of employers that are happy to work with our international students. And there's the ability to sign on for an installment payment plan. For you graduate students, we do not offer specific graduate student scholarships, but we do offer graduate assistantships. None of these are full rides. We don't have a full scholarship at Millersville. But the graduate assistantship program completely takes care of tuition for up to 18 credits a year, which is full-time enrollment for a year. So If you look at that last slide, it was like 9 and 9, or you do 6, 6, and then 3 during the summer term. And then a stipend of $6,000 a year divided up between monthly payments. So we do what we can to be an affordable option for our students. And we're very proud of our outcomes of our students who graduated. They've gone on to be able to earn back that investment they've placed into their education, and we're proud to be part of that journey. These are just a recap of the few of the reasons why international students choose Millersville University. It's a great location that's safe and welcoming, has a lot of opportunities, and it's a great experience, a great place to live. So if you're interested in taking next steps with Millersville and you haven't already, you can start the application process by hitting international. Typically, in a normal time of year, it would take between 2 to 3 weeks to get a decision. We just welcomed our fall 2025 class. I just finished registering everyone in SEVIS and their immigration systems. And so now I will be shifting focus fully on admitting and trying to get back up. We just moved from an old application system to a new one. So again, thank you guys for your patience as we are trying to take care of those and then move you into a new and hopefully easier application cycle. Decisions will hopefully be coming out within the next 1 to 2 weeks for our undergrad students. For our grad students, that'll have to go on to the grad department. But we look forward to getting you those decisions soon. When a decision's issued, you'll be notified by email. But for those of you who are applying now, do know that we're moving into fully focusing on our 2026. So our next intake is spring 2026, which starts in January. And then fall 2026 has opened, and it is for August 2026. Information on the application process is at the Millersville website. You can click this little button here for how to apply and see additional steps. Information on cost and tuition, financial assistance. I know that some of the academic terms we use can be confusing. So this is academic key terms in case we use words in a way that you're not used to. You can book a virtual appointment, look at our virtual tour. You can use a lot of, once you're admitted, the next steps are fully published on the website. You can see it all here. So we try to make our website as useful for you as possible. Definitely check that out, or you can email us at internationaladmissions@millersville.edu. Once you submit your application, you will have access to My Spyglass. If you noticed all of the pirate theme in this, that is our mascot. We are the Millersville Marauders. We're very committed to that theme. So that's why it's called My Spyglass. You'll be able to use this to navigate not only your admission process, but your immigration process as well. You'll find some quick links right here. And there is an update at this top of the page for you as you move your way through the application cycle. When a decision is issued to you, you will be given both an admission letter and a proof of funds document. These two items together you'll utilize in the immigration process. The proof of funds document would show you any awards as well as an estimate for you to gather information to be able to demonstrate a proof of funds to get that Form I-20 to interview for a visa. And then as mentioned earlier, we do have an international student arrival checklist. You can look at it right now. It's public facing. It shows all 13 steps that students need to take to be able to arrive to campus. We know this can be a stressful experience for some, so we want to make it as transparent as possible. And we also do have a series called Voyage to the Ville that once you've been admitted, these are a series of webinars and events that we hold throughout the year to help you prepare for what life in the US would come. So I'm going to end with one more video before we open up for questions and answers.
I chose Millersville because when I came here, there was a sense of community and a sense of a place where I could belong.
Take a moment to reflect on how your life has changed during your time at Millersville, and think of those who supported and encouraged you along the way.
When you invest in the lives of people, there will be a return on investment for generations to come.
In the summer of 2021, found out that I had a brain tumor. I kind of needed some extra support.
The benefit of becoming a mentor is knowing that I'm helping. I think you always knew what needed to happen, but it's been amazing to watch it unfold.
Don't make me cry.
The connections made on this campus are for life. So look around, because you don't get rid of us.
I would encourage you to always try to see people for who they are. We all have a responsibility to make the world a better place. And by serving others, you'll find fulfillment and purpose.
For me, the benefit of being a mentor is being able to get to see you grow and do cool things.
I know that if I'm ever unsure about something or if I have something big coming up, there's definitely somebody that's there to be able to guide me.
I'm proud of you, so getting to see you do all of these really cool things, it means a lot for me.
Millersville is a place where you can grow.
Millersville became a family to me. It became my second home to me, and it gave me the strength to keep carrying on.
So now it's just a moment that I'll open up for some questions. For those of you who are attending live, please keep in mind that this is recorded. If you want to have a more in-depth conversation, we can do virtual appointment later. But I know there's a lot of information that I just covered. Let me see if there's a question that was just dropped here. Is there availability funding for master's international students? So coming back to this slide, yes, it is through the graduate assistantship position. This is a position that you would apply for after you receive admission to the institution. That is, I have 2 graduate assistants that work for me. Both of those students do not have to pay tuition, and they do receive a stipend, but they work 20 hours a week. So at Millersville, that's the opportunity available for graduate students. You do have the opportunity to also do things like the installment plan. Graduate students also get to choose where they live. There are some that choose to live on campus. Yeah, it's not during the application process. So it is something after you've been admitted, then you have the opportunity to apply. And the graduate assistantship positions are actually placed on the HR website. So you would apply for it like any other position on campus. Is a scholarship given automatically, or do you need to apply for it differently? So for the first year merit scholarships, it will be automatically awarded to you at the time of admission based off of your GPA at that time of admission. So it's automatic, and it would be automatically renewed as a student for up to 4 years or 8 semesters, provided that you maintain what's called academic, like good standing. So you have at least a 2.0 and above GPA. Good questions on finances. Any other questions today? Is it only given because of good academic records? Yes. So a merit scholarship is generally given based off of academic merit. There are some institutions that might define merit differently, but every university I've worked at has defined merit as being academic, so your grades. We only take into account your grades. And it would depend on the nation you're from. So for example, if you're coming from a West African nation that utilizes the WIAC, it would be the WIAC results for you that would serve as your basis for GPA for admission if you've graduated from high school. Just giving you an example. Any other questions? Oh wait, so automatically when it's given admission. Okay, so Winifred, the scholarships are for undergraduate first year students. I think you said that you were a graduate student. So if you're a first year student who's never done any university coursework, you're automatically considered for an award. For graduate students, you apply for the graduate assistantship and do the interview process like you would for any other position. Okay, it looks like I got through the questions that were related to this slide. I'll just pause a second to see if you guys have any other questions today.
How prominent are like cultural clubs, if there are any, at Millersville? With like
So we do have, yeah, that's a great question, Tim. So we do have a lot of cultural clubs on campus. What I'm showing you is a screenshot, so you can't edit this, but if you go to like the Get Involved page, you'll be able to go through all of them. It's not on here alphabetically yet, but we do have the Asia Club as well, which is the Asian Student Organization. We have about 5 or 6 different cultural clubs. I think there was like a K-pop dancing one that came up that's on here as well. But this one right here, you can see is the African Student Caribbean Association. We have the Global Marauders, which is a club that we host as the global center. But then there are, again, academic honor societies. So some students are related to it for their major. The Marauder Fund, the one that does investment banking with the university money, that one is actually a club for anyone from any major to host. That's hosted by our College of Business. So the last time I checked, there was about 200 clubs, some of them student clubs, some of them clubs from a department. But there's about 180 student-led ones, meaning that the students wanted the club, the students are the officers. Things like the Global Marauders are our club where we hosted. We still have students who do things. But there's a lot of different clubs on campus. Good question. Okay. Sounds like I've answered your guys' questions. I'm going to stop sharing real quick and I'll drop a link in the chat for you guys to be able to book a one-on-one appointment if you wanted to continue the conversation with myself or my colleague Young directly. This is tied directly to our calendar. So you're able to book an appointment based off of our next availability. So thank you all for attending. I know that it was very different time zones for each one of you, and we appreciate your time. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks.